What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and today we're doing a tier list of all the masterminds in Legion Tower Defense 2. There's a lot of them, and honestly, I've been playing a lot of them. I would say this is the most variety that I've ever played in ranked and classic that I've ever done. Just so you guys know, I'll probably be more focused on the rank side, just because that's probably 95% of my gameplay. And I'm not just basing these purely off of my winning, you know? I'm also going to sort of go based off just my mental opinion. But without further ado, let's start ranking the masterminds. Lock-in. Lock-in, of course, has the two variations, but we'll pair it together. Lock-in plus random lock-in is solid, but I don't feel like there's any unit that's absolutely broken right now. There's nothing that is like, oh, lock-in Shadow. I mean, Shadow Dancer is good, right? That's probably the closest I would say. Shadow Dancer lock-in or lock-in egg. But I don't really feel like there's anything that automatically guarantees a win. With that being said, I feel like it's still really solid. So for now, I'm going to put an A, but it's like A minus B plus, and I'm going to think about it. But I would say lock-in, because of the random lock-in, probably an A. Cartel. I've been loving Cartel. I think with the current meta of honestly no punishment if you leak pre-10, that Cartel is awesome. I don't know if it puts it into the S tier, but I definitely think this is an A tier. Deserves its spot. Once again, for me, I've been actually having some great Cartel win rate. You can't really starve me if I have the highest income in the game, you know? And that's normally how I'm losing, is I get giga starved. In addition, Cartel can let you get ahead going into wave 11, 12, and so forth, where the game is most important. So I feel like Cartel is pretty good. And if you are like a starver, you want to go for that like Ghost Knight on 8 or that Mimic on 7, I think Cartel is pretty good for that. I don't use it for that, but I think somebody who wanted to could. Cartel in A, I think is a good spot, just a flat A, no A plus, no A minus, solidly an A. Champion, another one that I've really enjoyed this season. Recently I've just started spamming Champion. I don't know why. I stopped playing it a little bit. I had like a 70% or 68% win rate with it, and I probably haven't played Champion in the last 25 games. I don't think you can put it in S, but man, I really feel like it is S. Another A tier for me. I don't think, you know what? And then I'm gonna change that. If I have Champion and Cartel in my A tier, I don't think Lock-in can go with them. So I'm making that slight change. Lock-in, I'm sorry, you're in B tier. But yeah, Champion, really solid. A giga buff, but the one thing that knocks it down is, well, I mean, I guess it's two things, not one thing. The one thing is it needs to go on the right unit, okay? So number one, you need the correct championable units. And number two, you might have a Holy Avenger. You might have a Banana Bunk. You might have an egg, right? Amazing champion units. But if you didn't have Pirate Skelly or you didn't have Grarl, then you actually can't give champion to your best unit immediately. So then, with no gold, with no income, you're just sitting on your champion spell for a couple of waves. That is the one downside. All right. That is the one downside, is you might have that perfect unit and you can't quite use your champion yet, and maybe you save it too long. Right? So that would be the one downside for champion. But I really don't think the income in gold hurts it that bad. Kingsguard. I think Kingsguard is absolute dog water right now, and I'm gonna tell you why. I don't care if the win rate is super high. I'm making a statement on Kingsguard. Kingsguard is bad. If you use it pre-10, it's not that bad. Okay, I'll give that stipulation. If you're using Kingsguard pre-10, I don't think it's that bad. But here's the thing. With the current meta, if you leak after wave 10, it doesn't matter if you don't die. It like yes, you might give a like 5% or 2% less gold. When you leak after wave 10, the amount of gold that you give to your opposing to the opposing team is like multiplied. I actually just saw that I guess it's going up by percent per wave. I never even knew this. I'm stupid. It's like 8% extra on wave 11, 12% extra on wave 12. That's not the exact number, but it's something like that. It scales. It infinitely scales to where they get more gold the later the game goes. So yes, Kingsguard saving you on a wave 19 is great, but you still might lose because they got so much gold. So they get the benefit of the gold, they get the benefit of you leaking, and you lose gold. Yeah, you live, but you're gonna lose. So I think Kingsguard stinks. Um, if it's not preventing me from leaking, it's not good, in my opinion. Scrapper. Is it B or A? Scrapper would have been S tier, right? I think Scrapper would have been S tier, but they dropped it from 90%. So I'm gonna just put in like A minus. I still think Scrapper is excellent. You can feel that 85%. You can feel that it's definitely not as good, and I'm gonna guess that not very many people are playing it now since they reverted it, or reverted it with 3 gold, you know. But I still feel pretty good with it. Like when I've played Scrapper, it didn't feel that bad. So I still like Scrapper. Selling your units for better units, and if you get lucky with the Angler Steeds, with the eggs, Sakuras, Bigwigs, you know, things like that make it really amazing. So if you just play a solid game with Scrapper, honestly, you're pretty solid, because you're solid. I said that twice, 3 times, 5 times. But yeah, I think Scrapper is great. Also, just screws up your opponent, right? Wow, he's so weak on 12. He's got Warp Wings and Yazoras on wave 12. He's definitely going to leak here. Bam. Wave 12 comes. You Scrapper two Void Rays, 2 Void Mantas, 2 Warp Wings. Bam. 2 Pyros, full hold 12, game's over. So, Scrapper is pretty good just because you're hiding from your opponent. Megamind. I'm gonna go B. And this is just a personal thing. I think if I was going based off of like the community or other people, I'd probably put in an S or A. But for me, I just feel like I kept getting screwed with Megamind, man. I felt like every time I played Megamind, I got one of 2. I got one of 2 Masterminds. Oh, I need to add Miner. Yeah, I feel like I got one of two Masterminds every time. And that is a bad YOLO, and that is Miner. And Miner with that extra 1 gold is just going back to what it was before they nerfed it. And so it's like, I feel like I'm not getting the best possible Mastermind here. That's kind of annoying to me. That kind of stinks. There are some great like you get cash out without extra gold. If you love these 3 Masterminds and you get an extra gold, it's really good. But man, I just feel like for me personally lately, Megamind has been rolling me my bottom tier Masterminds. And if it was rolling my upper tier Masterminds, then I'd be happy. I'd be thrilled. But it's just not doing that for me. And it's getting annoying. I'm getting tired of it. So, yeah, I'm not so sure I really like Megamind. Greed. 5 gold, 5 income, the bare bones. It's just an easy B, right? I don't think that there's anything to say for greed. I just don't. I think it's the bare bones, and it's balanced. You know, it's a good play style, but it's kind of boring for me. So B for boring. Alright guys, so I made sure to add Miner back, and honestly, since we were discussing it, we might as well attack it first. Miner, you get cheaper workers, but you start with 16 less gold to start the game. That one gold is just so punishing, man. That one gold is so punishing. Um, and honestly, I just don't feel like pushing workers in the late game really pays off. Where like theoretically, you treat miner like castle or something, right? You just play a solid game. You get to wave 11 and 12. Bam, you receive a send. You push like 20 workers when you actually would only be able to push like 18 or 17, because of the gold, the cheaper workers. So it costs you less gold. Less gold meaning that you can buy more. But I don't feel like that's how the current meta is, like pushing a lot of workers in the mid game. I feel like it's pushing workers in the early and then just long saving. So I don't feel like miner pays off in the early game. So I don't really like miner right now. I think it's average. So I'm going to put miner in C tier. And it's because of that one gold change, and it stinks. Redraw. This is actually kind of crazy. This is actually kind of crazy, bro. I'm not even making a joke here. I have played 7 or 8 games of redraw, and every single game I should have won. And I won most of them. But even in the games that I lost, I was in a winning position and I should have won. The ability to hit a button to try to find one or multiple combos is just absolutely broken. The only problem I'd say with redraw, if you watched any of my recent videos, I think that Grarl into egg with redraw is absolutely broken, right? However, I did have one game where I was really tilted and I did not roll egg after like 20 rolls. I didn't roll egg after like 20 rolls. So there is the player factor, right? The player factor of like, oh, I must find this. But honestly, Grarl into a bunk is great. Grarl into an adventure is great, right? So there's so many options you can do. I think redraw is absolutely broken. I genuinely wish it was not in the game because it's just unfair in my opinion. You start with good income. It's only a gold for so many waves to actually just keep rolling for what you want. So I think it is like silly broken right now. And my plan is to use it to reach the top 10. They'll probably nerf it before I make it to the top 10. But I think right now redraws is the most broken mastermind in the game. And I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Try it. Have like a couple of rolls in your mind. Like, okay, Grarl and Egg, I'm really excited for. Crab Warlock with Steeds, I'm really excited for. Flower Aqua, I'm really excited for. Just have a couple of rolls in your mind, and you're bound to roll one, right? You can place one unit, then roll, right? You can place a couple of auras, and then roll. Like there's just so many things you can do with redraw. It's insane. YOLO. Oh man, dude. I'ma just go B. I mean, I just get screwed so bad from bad YOLOs that although it has like amazing income, the highest aside from cartel where you lose it, right? So it has the highest income long term. You get a bad roll and you just instantly lose. I got a game with 5 piercing damage units, and an egg. I had no tanks. I had mask. I had ranger. I just had piercing damage. I'd like archer. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do with this aqua spirit? It was the dumbest roll I've ever seen. I just don't like YOLO. I would do anything to have it reverted, right? If you can revert Scrapper, okay? Can you revert YOLO back to normal? Can we do the -1 income for the reroll, please? Please. Can we all just, if you're going to comment on this video, can you get a couple of comments saying, make YOLO, what it was again? Maybe we can get the devs to change that. What do you guys think? I think YOLO was so good. It was fun. It was like, hey, you got a bad roll. At least there's some type of insurance. At least there's a little type of insurance. Now there's no insurance. You're just screwed. You're just absolutely screwed. Okay? And honestly, that makes me not even want to play the game. And any mastermind that makes you want to not play is not a good mastermind, right? So I feel like B is maybe even being generous, to be honest. It's probably S tier if you're lucky, and it's D tier if your name is Doofus Mcdooface. But it is what it is. Chaos. I'll put chaos in D tier. Once again, just making a statement. I don't like chaos. If it was based off of winning, it would probably be in like A or B. But I'm just so tired of chaos. I'm tired of losing to chaos. Which is funny because redraw and chaos are actually so similar. But I guess redraw I'm a little bit better at, right? I'm better at cheating with redraw than I am at cheating with chaos. Because they both just feel like straight cheating, right? They just feel like cheating masterminds. It's just my opinion. But yeah, different roles. It's once again all luck based. I just don't like the luck masterminds. At least this one it's charging you, right? So if you're really trying to find something, it'll cost 20, 30 gold. How many rolls do you have to do to get that? You could just be the luckiest person. Chaos just back to back, right? You get those hardened mudmins on 12. You get those flowers on 16. So it's really good, but I don't like it. So I'm putting it in D just as a screw you type thing, you know. Hybrid. This is a classic only mastermind. And honestly, when I did play hybrid, all my hybrid challenges, it doesn't matter if you're overbuilt. Your build just stinks with hybrid. I just feel like the builds are awful with hybrid. Like in classic, everything that matters is the late game, right? You need a good combo. That's where you see people leak 2,000 over and people hold 2,000 under because they have an amazing combo. How can you build combos with hybrid? You cannot. You can only overbuild and hope that value is superior. But in classic, that doesn't really work, right? Value is not that superior when it comes to builds, you know? So I don't even think hybrid's that good. Fiesta. This is a tough one. Because the early game leaking is okay, but giving gold to your opponents is already a huge problem. I think I'm going to go B tier. I think like it's kind of like that YOLO. It could be S tier for some and it can be D tier for some. And I feel like I find myself on both ends of the spectrum. Fiesta, if you get really good Fiestas early and you knock it off, you can be on fire. Just like that, you're on fire. Or if you have some fat Fiestas, you can be absolutely punished in the last place. In addition, they created that awful change for Sui Cross, which impacts Fiesta, where if you have less than 50% value and you leak 85% or more, then you are getting half worker mythium during that wave. So if you are trying to start the game 7 workers and then you get sent perfectly on wave 3, you are getting less mythium than everybody else. It is extremely punishing, and I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of that change. It punishes Fiesta, where I feel like Fiesta was already not even that strong. But Fiesta in B tier, I think that's okay. Cash out. I don't really like cash out right now. Once again, I have no good reason to put cash out down here. I guess I can keep going back to it's missing that 1 gold for Sakura, but I just don't find myself playing cash out that much. I maybe have 1 or 2 cash out games this season, probably 10 to 15 with Megamind. It's just kind of stale for me. Like getting extra gold is not that cool. I'd rather the champion thing or being able to do something cool with Fiesta. Cash out's kind of boring for me. You should get 6 workers pretty often, which is good. But I don't know, it just doesn't excite me. And I don't think that this is a C tier in like win rate C tier. I think this is a C tier in like don't enjoy it as much type of way. If I'm gonna be fair to all of you cash out players, all two of you. But yeah, cash out C tier. Castle. I mean, it's got to be A tier for sure. Because the punishment in the early game is just so minor right now, where you lose so little gold early, and then you lose so much gold after 10. Well, who wouldn't want a giga buff of income right when the game actually starts to matter? Right when the game actually starts to matter. Oh, here you go. Here's some 47 or 40 something income. Like holy moly. Yeah, Castle is solid. I don't love playing it because it makes me play a little overbuildy, but man, do I win when I do. Man, do I win when I play a Castle. Um, and people are like, Doofus, why don't you play it more then? It's just boring for me. Like, I try to play more exciting masterminds. You know, Cartel pushing a gazillion workers, Fiesta pushing a gazillion workers again these leaks. Champion 1 giga unit. Redraw right now. I'm just kind of cheating and I'm feeling good about it. Chaos does feel like cheating, but it's like the boringest version of cheating, right? You still have to play solid, just a little like less worker push, but it's just kind of boring for me. But really good mastermind. If you like playing Castle, no problem, keep doing it. Aristocrat, the new mastermind, is definitely in S tier. I did not win that many games with it because I kept pushing too hard. If you treat Aristocrat as greed, because they literally have the same income, you honestly, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it still sort of confuses me. Aristocrat and greed. Like, aren't they the same? I mean, I guess minus the tier 1. I guess the tier 1 is the change. You literally get 5 income. You lose tier 1s to get income every time you place and upgrade tier 6s. Like, that's just, it's way too heavy. It's way too heavy on this side. So if greed is B, Aristocrat's got to be much higher. And honestly, the overbuild gameplay is really good right now. Like Castle and Aristocrat, really good for that mid game. Because you don't want to leak in the mid game or you lose a bazillion gold and then you instantly lose the game. So if you're just overbuilding and generating more income because you keep placing tier 6, tier 6, tier 6. Oh, Aristocrat's amazing. I think Aristocrat's really good. Just because I lost a lot of games with it early was just because I thought, oh, you got to force out a tier 6. Oh, you got to force out a tier 6. No, just play a normal game. And then when you start adding tier 6s in the mid game, like any normal game you would, you're getting a buff for doing nothing other than just playing how you would normal. So, pretty awesome. Saboteur, definitely got to be one of, if not the worst masterminds game. Not being able to king stinks. There's just, it just makes you play a certain way. It makes you play aggressive, trying to send power mercs normally. And if you don't leak them big, you're out. If you're in danger and your teammate hasn't been kinging, you die. I just don't like Saboteur. Taking away the ability to king up, not a huge fan of at all. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people play Saboteur. I think that I'm not going to use stats this video because then people are like, whoa, well, which elo range are you using? But I think Scrapper and Saboteur have the least played games by people. And it's just because Scrapper, I guess people just didn't enjoy, and then Saboteur, I guess people just don't enjoy either. So I would say these are the two least played masterminds. And I'm pretty sure statistics would back me up. But I don't really like Saboteur, specifically because I don't like saving and sending mean, right? So if I have to generate my income based off of leaking my opponent, I'm not having a fun time. So not a huge fan of Saboteur. Stash. This is a weird one. So I can go 2 ways with this. I can go 2 ways with Stash. I don't play Stash. Okay. I think I've played maybe 10 games with it since it's been out. Maybe the fewest. I might have even played more Saboteurs than Stashes. But I do have to sort of give it that Castle love. If I'm going to not play Castle, but I understand how good Castle is, I think I have to do the same thing with Stash. Stash is just so broken because it has that sort of scrapper, that redraw effect, right? It has, these three have the same baloney effect where you think somebody is leakable. You think we've got the win on wave 17. Wave 17 comes. This guy pulls out Hardened Mudmans. This guy scraps his build for Vulcans or Hellgates. This guy is somehow 300 over when he was just 500 under. So all of them are just that late game baloney. And it's really good. I don't love playing it, but it is very, very good, right? And if you leak a little bit in the early game, you're doubling your stash, doubling, right? You're getting more and more gold. So I think Stash is really good. I don't love playing it. Just like Castle, it's kind of boring, kind of chickeny. Also, you have to know the perfect wave to pop your stash, or a good wave to pop it. But I think we're solid here. I think redraw on Aristocrat, definitely broken. A lot of people complaining about Aristocrat. How is that fair to greed? So I think it's good in S tier. I'm loving redraw right now. So I think that's fair. These are my 3 other favorite masterminds right now. Fiesta, although I love playing, has to be kind of low. Castle and Stash, as I said, great in the current meta. Megamind, I had to penalize it by 1. It should be an A. Megamind should be an A, to be honest. It should be. But I have to penalize it for those bad YOLOs and giving me minor so many games. Lock-in is just solid, but I don't think any unit is outrageous. Greed, perfectly balanced, but not perfectly balanced when you think of Aristocrat. I think Aristocrat probably should have 4 income and then be an A tier. I think you drop it by 1 income. Minor, -1 gold is just too effectively punishing. Hybrid, gold is in everything in classics. Cash out, boring. Kingsguard, you already lost by the time your king saves you. Chaos, dumbest mastermind in the whole world, in my opinion. And then Saboteur just makes you play Starvey in not a good way, in my opinion. But those were my tier lists for the masterminds, or those are. This is my tier list for the Legion TD2 masterminds. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments if I did good or bad. And thanks for watching, guys. See you in there. See you in the next one. And if you have another tier list you would like me to attempt, please let me know, and I'll see what I can do. So thank you for watching.